Referral business is dead if you're not making these plays. Your past clients are the keys to you getting business coming back to you. It is actually the key to you harvesting the return on the time investment you've already made in those customers. Yet agents don't do this. It drives me absolutely nuts. Agents think about that Glengarry Glen Ross scene, ABC, always be closing the deal. I'm going to teach you CCC, constantly closing customers. I want to not close the deal because that's a one-off. One-offs mean that you earn it and now you got to go out and replace it to have the same thing next year that you had this year. I don't want that for you. To build a real business, you need people that loyally come back to you. So constantly closing customers. How do we do this? Well, the key difference between closing deals and closing customers is to take and make sure that when they're done with the experience of working with you, if you were to ask them, would you ever work with another agent again? And not even you, like some neutral person was to ask them, would you ever work with another agent again? They have to say, no, why would I ever work with somebody else? See, most customers, when they're done working with an agent, most clients would say, oh, well, yeah, no, they were pretty good, so it was all right. In fact, when they do the studies, they do it right after closing. I always thought that was a bad idea. Right after closing, it's like 88% of people say, or 92% of people is the number, 92% of people say they would use the same agent again. 88% of them can't remember the agent's name after 2 years. What does that mean? It means that's how little of a difference you actually made. The reason why I don't like them asking at closing, if you ask them just about anything at closing, they're at an absolute all-time emotional high. Of course they're going to say yes. But what are the actual choices they make? Only 12% of the time do they choose to use the same agent again. So the key difference, what are those 12% of agents that have their people come back doing different than the other 88%? Well, the other 88% are following the mainstream of real estate, which is back to ABC. CCC, constantly closing clients, is all about making sure every step of the way that we've anticipated them well and given them something they don't feel like they can get someplace else. So let's anticipate the customer together. We could assume that a customer would want a few things in an agent. The first one we'll talk about, rapport, is the one that every training focuses on. Build rapport, get them to like you, ask questions, ask open-ended questions. If you're doing that, you're doing what every other agent is. There's nothing wrong with it, except that, what's the value of that to a customer? Like, if you were on trial for murder, would you want to hire the most likable attorney? Or would likability be further down your pecking order of what you consider important when vetting who you're gonna work with? So I want to take and put a pin in that rapport. I want to say, I want it. It's not a bad thing. It's emotionally manipulative. Getting people to like you makes it more likely that they want to work with you, but it's not for a good reason they're working with you. I want to get to the second thing, credibility. Credibility is us actually knowing what the hell we're talking about and being good at it. All right. Credibility is that we've done the work before we met the customer to be worthy of their business. Do you think they'd want to hire an agent that's good at what they do? Let's think. Would you think that a customer, if they had you could hire an agent that's not good at what they do or an agent that's good at what they do? I think they pick good at what they do, considering the amount of money that's involved. I think they prioritize good at what they do. Okay, fine. How am I going to make the case I'm good at what I do? Well, how about rather than asking a bunch of questions when you walk in, how about you have something to say that shows them the amount of time and commitment that you have to being excellent at your craft? Wouldn't that actually convey that before they met you, you had been doing significant work to be worthy of their business when you did meet them? And that kind of plays into the third thing, which is trust. The customer wants an agent that's going to look out for them. An agent that not only is capable of looking out for them, but will, when given the opportunity, always tell the customer what's in their best interest, even if it's not in the best interest of the agent. Will you tell a customer, hey, look, I don't think selling the property right now is a good idea. I think maybe you should refi. If you can, I think I think the outlook is better going forward. I don't know that it's the right time to sell. If they refi, I don't make any money. But by telling them that, if that was actually the best thing to do, I'm the only one out there that they're probably going to talk to that's going to tell them the truth. Because agents that will prioritize the client over the deal are few and far between, but it is what customers are desperate to find. So this is how you set things up from before you meet the customer to know what to talk about when you do meet them. I'm going to walk in and say, oh guys, all right, look, you're getting ready to go into real estate. Here's the things you need to be aware of. You're getting ready to do a deal. You want to buy, you want to sell. Here's the environment we see ourselves in. Here's the market. Here's the pressures on the market. Here's what the Fed is talking about. Here's where interest rates, here's what the 10-year bond is. This is what buyers are concerned with right now. This is what we see as far as the supply right now to demand ratio. These are the things that are affecting that. This is what you're getting ready to walk into. This is the stuff that's got me concerned. These are the ways that I'm pivoting and trying to protect ourselves to make sure that if we come to this market that we're able to get a successful outcome. Here are the things that I'd be concerned with bringing a product to market or trying to buy a product on market today. This is the conversation that they're desperate to have. So if you're having that conversation, they're going to want to talk to you. But how do you make them want to talk about you to other people? Show them that you have what it takes to look out for them. One of the examples I love to give with this is when low ball offers come in. I am a believer, guys, that you have two choices when it comes to your customer. You could be seen as the prophet that prognosticates what could go wrong and tell them in advance, hey, look, this could happen. And if it does, let me tell you what I'm going to do to cut that off at the knees. Or you could be seen as the idiot doing damage control, trying to save their commission. Now, I'm not saying that you are an idiot or whatever. I'm saying that's what you run the risk of them thinking about you, which is not conducive to them saying good things about you. But when you're the one that say, hey, look, this could happen. And if it does happen, this is exactly what we're going to do. So let's talk about low ball offers. I talk to my customer I'm at the listing table. I say, guys, just so you know, when we bring this to the market, I know we agreed on this price. That doesn't mean somebody's going to necessarily come in and give us that price. In fact, usually we're going to get an offer and that offer is going to be below asking price. As long as you got me, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you got the hammer. We could always say no. We could say no, go jump off a bridge. We could say no, not at that price, maybe at this price, like we could counter, or we could agree to the price, but you never have to accept just because somebody sends you an offer. You don't have to accept it. That being said, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I want you to understand, folks could come in and put an offer in that's so low, it really hurts your feelings. We call it a low ball offer. If an offer comes in and it's really low, I'm going to tell you that I will ask you to give me permission to counter them higher than the original listing price. I call it doing the thing, where you take it, say, Josh, it is okay to do this. So we had the listing at 480. Offer comes in at 278. I call my seller up. I say, hey, we just got an offer in. It's very low. I'm sending it to you now. Let me know if you want me to do the thing. I hang up the phone. The phone rings immediately. It's my customer, says, oh, do the thing. I send an email to the other side. I say, thank you so very much for your offer of $278,000 on my listing at 485 Cherry Tree Lane. Currently on the market for $480,000. At this time, my seller is countering you at $1,695,497. Please present this offer to your buyer and let us know their response. We are very excited to get an offer done at this price. Thank you and have a wonderful day. And I BCC my customer on that email. How do you think my customer feels? My customer feels like anybody messes with them, I'm gonna look out for them. It's a silly, simple thing, but it's so powerful to make the customer feel like you're there, you know what could happen. You already told them it could happen. You told them what the options are, and you gave them the choice whether or not they wanted them. You wanted to turn you loose on the other side, and they gave you permission to do it. They feel like they got a protector. And here's the crazy thing. When they're at the dinner party later this night, they're gonna be like, hey, you won't believe what my real estate agent did. Oh, really? What's that guy's name? That's hilarious. Making your customer feel protected is critical. Now, I can't tell you that I've always been the one to take and make the hardcore push. Does anybody you know thinking of buying or selling real estate? Referrals are what keeps me in bed. I never really said that to customers. Maybe that makes me a bad agent. I don't know. But I can tell you this. I have almost 100% customer retention. And the reason why is because I give customers something they don't feel like they can get from another agent, so they never bother thinking about working with anybody else. When they have a question, even remotely related to real estate, they call me. because I'm the one person they know that's going to give them either an answer or a contact or something to make sure they have what they need to get the answers that they need. In other words, they can depend upon me to be the expert in the room. Overwhelmingly, if you're going to anticipate the customer, they want expertise more than they want likability. So prioritizing that is going to build that customer sense that you're the person when it comes to real estate you talk to, that anyone talks to, and it's going to give them the internal permission to feel like they can say, hey, call, fill in your name here, and know that if they send their friend to call you, that you're going to make them look like a genius for having an agent like you. The reason why most customers don't actually refer agents very much is because they're frankly terrified of how bad a job we might do. They don't want to be on the hook, because the second you say, oh, I got a great electrician, I got a great plumber, the job they do reflects on you. Is the experience you've left them with making them feel super comfortable that if they tell somebody your name, that you're the only one that should talk to? So stay in contact with your customer. Follow up, guys. I'm telling you, pick up the phone, call your past customers, call them 3-4 times a year at a minimum. And when you do, you don't necessarily have to do that hard, high-pressure sale of, oh, does anybody you know thinking about, hey, how you doing? How's the house working out? How are you? I was thinking about you. How's everything? And you know what you're going to get? You're going to, man, it's so sweet. You always think of us. You're so good. It's, you know, my cousin was thinking of doing something. I can't tell you how much of my business has come from that very phone call, guys. A lot less painful than these high-pressure sales techniques, and all of that stuff is medicating the fact that we don't do a great job of just making people feel like the agent that they worked with is irreplaceable. Be the irreplaceable agent. They'll send you business left and right because they'll trust that you'll look out for the people they send your way.